The story of Susan Moody. We are going to hear a story about Susan Moody, a very brave doctor who was called upon by Abdu'l-Baha to journey from her homeland of the United States to Iran in order to help the women of that country. Some years before leaving for Iran, Susan had prayed to God that she would be enabled to dedicate herself entirely to God and act in accordance with His will. God blessed her greatly and allowed her to do just that.
Well, hello there. My name is Susan Moody. I lived in Chicago in the United States in the early 1900s, about 110 years ago. At that time, it was very rare for women to be doctors, but at the age of 52, I was inspired to study medicine. I soon completed medical school and started to work as a doctor. Around the same time, I was introduced to the Baha'i faith and became an active member of the Baha'i community, teaching children's classes, like the one you're having today, and hosting visitors and gatherings in my home.
Now, in Iran, there was a team of doctors who were planning to establish a hospital in the capital city, Tehran. Perhaps you know that, because of the religious traditions there, many women considered it improper for them to show their faces to a male doctor, and female doctors in the country were very few. So this team of doctors asked for a female doctor from the United States to join them, and Abdu'l-Baha encouraged Susan Moody to go.
Not surprisingly, my family and friends objected to the idea of my leaving my medical practice in the United States to help people in a far-off land where I might have to deal with strange diseases and difficult problems. But I was ready to respond to Abdu'l-Baha's call. Now I realized why I had so strongly felt the desire to study medicine several years earlier.
At almost 60 years of age, she set off at once. Of course, in those days, it took a long time to travel from one part of the world to another, and Iran was very far away from the United States. On her way to Iran, Dr. Moody was able to stay for a few days in the Holy Land.
Oh, what glorious days spent in the Holy Land with Abdu'l-Baha. What a privilege for me to be in the Master's presence. He told me that I would need patience once I arrived in my new home, but assured me that he would often pray for me and would always be with me.
She then started out on the final part of her journey, sailing by boat across the Caspian Sea and arriving in a city of northeastern Iran called Bandar-i Ansali. From there, she traveled by horse and carriage across the mountains to the capital, Tehran, stopping along the way to meet with the Baha'i friends and to treat people who were ill. Already, Susan began to see how pressing was the need for a female doctor, such as herself, for many women came to her for assistance. When Dr. Moody finally arrived in Tehran, she immediately began caring for the sick and soon became fluent in the Persian language. She established a medical practice in her home in addition to working at the hospital. She was compassionate, kind, and tender-hearted, and everyone loved her very dearly. A local newspaper praised her good qualities and kind attributes, and went on to say, every day from morning till noon, she is in her office, number 10 Avenue, Abdullah, receiving her patients for consultation, examination, and treatment, excepting Friday and Sunday afternoons when she goes to the hospital Sihat. We give the utmost thanks and gratitude that such a noble woman, to such a respected person, whose presence here is a great privilege to the country of Persia.
Not long after establishing a medical practice in Tehran, I saw a need to help others learn about health issues and began to provide instruction to women in nursing and childbirth. Eventually, I also joined hands with others to set up a formal school called the Tarbiyat School for Girls. The school offered education to many young women, many of whom went on to become teachers themselves, making it possible to establish other schools for girls throughout the country.
The Tarbiyat School for Girls became highly respected and was attended by young ladies from all backgrounds until it was forced to close down by the government because of hatred and suspicion. That, however, is another story, and someday you may want to learn more about this remarkable school. But today you should know that Dr. Susan Moody died in Iran at the age of 83 after having spent some 20 years of her life applying the knowledge she gained to better her new homeland and helping others, especially women, to have the opportunity to do the same.
What a blessing it was to live a life of service to humanity. I am so thankful that I was allowed to serve and help others through my love for God and knowledge of medicine. When I entered the next realm and met Baha'u'llah face to face, he was very pleased with me, which has made me eternally happy.